This will be the video for Chapter 3, Topic 2, Graphing Equations in Standard Form. So just like we did in Topic 1, we're going to use a table to graph this. However, the equation looks a little bit different, and the setup is ax plus by equals c, where a, b, and c are just regular numbers, are the coefficients of the x and y terms, and then the constant. So for the first part, we're going to use a table, and we're going to graph by intercepts. So our big word is intercepts. Ooh. And what that means is we're going to plug in 0 for each of the variables x and y and see what comes out. So we plug in, first we're going to plug in 0 for x. So that means it's 0 plus y equals 7. Therefore, y is equal to 7. So that means I'm going to plot the point 0, 7. That is the y-intercept. The second part, I am going to plug in 0 for y. So I get x plus 0 equals 7. Therefore, x is equal to 7. And that is what we call the x-intercept. So let's go ahead and plot that. X is 7 and y is 0. So we have 2 points, and we know that 2 points make a line. And I'm going to try to hit both of them. There we go. We're going to do 2 more examples of this because they're not always going to be that easy. Sometimes we have lots of different numbers and we actually have to solve. So let's make our table, our x and our y, and one of them x is 0, the other y is 0. So that we do every single time. So our x-intercept always has a y of 0, so I'm going to go ahead and write this point. The y-intercept always has an x of 0, so I'm going to go ahead and start that point. Now I just need to solve for the x and y values of both. So if I plug in 0 for x, 2 times 0 plus 3y is equal to 12. I get 2 times 0 is just 0. So if I have 3y equal to 12, I need to divide both sides by 3 because I have to get y by itself. Once y is by itself, 12 divided by 3 is 4. Therefore, my y value when x is 0 is 4. So I'm going to go ahead and fill that in my y-intercept and plot that on my graph. Let's go ahead and plug in 0 for y. So I get 2 times x plus 3 times 0 equals 12. 3 times 0 is just 0, so I'm going to cross out that term. And now to get x by itself, I need to divide both sides by 2. Once I do that, I get x by itself finally is equal to 12 divided by 2, which is positive 6. So I can fill that in my table, fill it in for my x-intercept, and plot that point. Now that we have 2 points, we have a line, so I'm going to go ahead and graph that. Let's do one more together, and then I'll let you work on some U-tries. First, start out with our table with 0 for x and 0 for y. Let's plug in 0 for x first. Negative 4, 0 for x, plus y is equal to 8. That 0 term is going to cancel out. So y is equal to 8. Y is already by itself. So for our y-intercept, we have 0, 8, and we can plot that point on our graph. Let's move on to our x-intercept. So we're plugging in 0 for y. Negative 4, x plus 0 equals negative 8. So again, I don't have anything here, but I do have something that I need to solve. to get x by itself, I need to divide by -4. Once I do that, I get x equals +2. So I can fill that in my table and write that as a point for my x-intercept, and then finally plot it. Connect both points with a line, arrows at both ends, and we are complete. Right, numbers 4 and 5 are U-tries, so you need to have those finished as well as the notes for next class. Thank you for listening.